Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are diving into something truly incredible. It's a potential solution to one of the biggest threats facing modern medicine. We're going to explore a forgotten cure that uses, get this, a virus, the most abundant life form on our planet, to fight the terrifying rise of superbugs. Okay, just take a second to let that sink in. This quote really frames the stark reality we're all facing. For decades, we've relied on antibiotics for everything, but that era is coming to an end. Their power is fading. And that brings us face to face with a post-antibiotic world, where a simple infection could become a life or death struggle all over again. So first things first, let's set the stage and really understand the scale of the problem we're up against. This is the superbug crisis. Just imagine a world where routine medical procedures, think hip replacement, C-sections, even a basic surgery, suddenly become incredibly dangerous, where a simple cut could lead to an infection that our best drugs can't touch. That's the threat. That's the world we're trying to avoid. The rise of these superbugs means our current arsenal is failing, and we desperately need a new plan. But what if a solution has been hiding in plain sight for more than 100 years? Well, that brings us to the really cool part, where we get to rediscover this fascinating, almost forgotten cure. So, let me introduce you to the hero of our story, the bacteriophage, or just phage for short. Now, these things are literally the most abundant biological entities on Earth. They're everywhere, in the soil, in the water, even inside our own bodies. And their name says it all. They are nature's own bacteria eaters, evolved over billions of years for one single purpose: to hunt and obliterate bacteria. And their backstory is a wild ride. They were discovered way back in 1917 and used successfully for years, especially in Eastern Europe. Places like the Eliava Institute in Georgia became world centers for this stuff. But then, in the 1940s, penicillin arrived on the scene and poof, the West pretty much forgot all about phages. It wasn't until the superbug crisis became truly undeniable, highlighted by incredible stories like Tom Patterson's recovery in 2016, that the world started taking a serious second look. So how do these microscopic predators actually get the job done? How do they take down their target? Well, let's take a look at their incredibly elegant and brutally effective attack plan. This process, the lytic cycle, is just genius. The phage acts like a tiny biological hypodermic needle. It latches on, injects its DNA, and completely hijacks the bacterium's internal factory. It forces the cell to stop everything it's doing and just start making hundreds of new phages. It keeps going until the bacterium is literally stuffed to the brim. And then it bursts from the inside out, releasing a brand new army of bacteria eaters to continue the fight. It's amazing. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Think about the difference in strategy here. Broad-spectrum antibiotics, they're like carpet bombing. They wipe out everything. The bad bacteria, sure, but also all the good, beneficial bacteria that our bodies need. Phages, on the other hand, are like guided missiles. They are hyper-specific, targeting only the bad guy. Plus, and this is key, they self-replicate right at the site of the infection. That means a small dose actually gets stronger right where you need it most. Okay, so it sounds like a miracle cure, right? But of course, it's not quite that simple. Phage therapy has some absolutely incredible advantages, but there are also some pretty significant hurdles we need to clear before this can become a go-to treatment for everyone. The promise is just immense. We've talked about specificity and self-replication, but the big one? They work against bacteria that have become resistant to all of our antibiotics. And they have this special superpower. They're biofilm busters. They can chew right through those slimy, protective shields that bacteria build, which are notoriously tough for antibiotics to get through. But here's the flip side. That guided missile specificity means you have to find the exact right phage for the exact strain of bacteria attacking the body. That takes some serious diagnostic work. And then you have the regulatory hurdles. These are living, evolving things. They don't exactly fit into the neat little boxes of our drug approval process. And finally, there's public perception. Let's be honest, you hear the word virus and your brain immediately thinks bad. We've got a big job to do to convince people these are the good guys. So, where does all of this leave us? Well, I think we're standing at the dawn of a completely new era, where the future of fighting bacteria might just be viral. And the momentum right now is real. We're finally moving past those amazing, one-off, last resort miracle stories. Phage therapy is now entering serious, rigorous, controlled clinical trials for all sorts of stubborn infections, from chronic wounds to the terrible lung infections that cystic fibrosis patients suffer from.
This is the hard science, the data we need to turn this from a promising idea into a standard medical treatment.
And we can't forget that stories like Tom Patterson's are what got us here. Here's a man in a coma, infected with a superbug, resistant to every single antibiotic we had. His recovery wasn't just a miracle for him, it was a massive wake-up call for the entire medical community. It was the human story that gave real hope and sparked this new wave of research. The innovation happening now is straight out of science fiction. Scientists are actually engineering phages, tweaking their DNA to make them hunt a wider range of bacteria or even to deliver extra payloads to kill them. We're developing super fast diagnostic tools to find that perfect phage match in hours instead of days. And people are building global phage banks, these massive international libraries of bacteria eaters ready to be deployed anywhere in the world at a moment's notice. So, it all comes down to this one pretty profound question. Is it possible that the solution to a crisis caused by one tiny life form is another? It's almost poetic, isn't it? It's a question that researchers are now racing to answer, turning to nature's oldest predators to solve one of modern medicine's newest and most dangerous problems. Thanks so much for tuning in.